Some of you may have noticed a trend on the PGA Tour the last several seasons, and that is players choosing to switch to a mallet-style putter. Scotty Scheffler did it at Bay Hill last year where he went on to win. Then he came here to TPC Saltgrass and defended his player's title. He went on to win his second green jacket, the gold medal, the FedEx Cup title, and a few others on the way. Tonight, we take a look at blade versus mallet. A 3-foot putt counts just the same as a 300-yard drive. And while the flat stick may not impact the ball at over 120 miles an hour, choosing the right putter is one of the most important decisions in the game.
In order to use a blade putter, you have to be an incredible putter.
I don't know the exact science behind it, but I do feel more comfortable over the mallet.
I putted with a blade most of my life, and I changed to a mallet maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
I grew up with a blade putter, and I switched to a mallet style in 2019.
I always joke, if you use a blade and you start using a mallet, you can never go back to a blade.
I love the way blade putters look. I wish I could putt with them, but they don't work with me.
I kind of associate a blade with more like a Porsche. Every little move of the steering wheel, you kind of feel it. Versus a mallet is just kind of like, a big Suburban. So you don't feel as much of the bumps and stuff like that.
A smooth ride is exactly what players are looking for when it comes time to make putts under pressure. And over the history of the game, players have been willing to try anything to help the ball find the bottom of the cup.
If you go back, you look at some of the old putter innovations from like old Tom Morris times. There's always been people innovating and trying to find different ways. When the 2-ball came out, that sort of ushered in a new era, more creativity. People felt like they could do more progressive things. Most mallets were fairly conventional, not extremely large.
With Nick Faldo's win at the Masters, you really saw an explosion of that kind of small mallet style putter.
Everyone knows they need a forgiving driver. People would be surprised how their hit location on a putt may vary. As soon as you move off the center, you start to lose ball speed and you start to lose directional control. With mallets or higher MOI putters, just like with drivers, you can begin to overcome that.
MOI is a fancy way for saying forgiveness.
More forgiveness.
Forgiveness. The mallet's just a little bit more forgiving. The off-center hits don't get affected quite as much.
Blade putter, there's not a better looking putter in the world. I think the forgiveness of a mallet putter is the reason why you see so many people using mallet putters now.
MOI is a big deal because tour players, they don't hit all their putts perfectly, but they do have a pretty tight impact stat area. But when you go to long putts, your PGA Tour average putter, 29 or 30 feet, that's when you average 2 putts.
When manufacturers put different hosels on mallet putters, it's really when tour players started to take notice. How it's offset from the center of gravity of that putter will give a certain sort of feel in the hands that will match that player's face awareness.
The further the shaft enters the head from the center of gravity, and the more toe hang you're going to have. You're off by 1 degree from 10 feet on a straight putt, you're going to miss the hole.
Every object has a center of gravity. You want to get the weight as far away from that center of gravity as you can. The more you can do that, the higher inertia, the more forgiving it's going to be. And that really helps if you start hitting it off center. It's going to cause that putter head to rotate less.
While the larger head shapes have certainly helped with stability, the mallet-style putters have also evolved with an aim to help players do just that, aim.
I found a putter now that I line up very well, and the line on the ball I was using to help myself line up. I still love the blade putter. What I noticed with the mallet, it was just much easier for me to line up. It was easier for me to line up in the middle of the face and easier for me to line up on the line. Whereas with the blade, which I love, I had a line on the ball that I would somewhat match to the line on the back of the blade. And when I went away from the line to the mallet putter, it helped me be a little bit more free over the ball. And that's kind of what I like.
In 2024, 16 of the top 20 players in total putting used mallet putters. And in 2025, 22 of the top 30 players in the world currently roll a mallet. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to what feels best.
I've been putting with a blade since I could barely walk. I tried the mallet, didn't like it, and then went straight back to the blade.
just to go from a blade to a mallet is such a big difference. It gives your brain something different to look at and different to feel.
The only thing I would say with a mallet is sometimes it can make you lazy. So sometimes at home I'll practice with the blade putter because I know that I got to make a good stroke with that putter to get the ball to go in the hole. And then when I go back to my mallet, it feels a little easier.
I've gone to the blade because I just feel like I have more control. It's all a personal preference. If it sits down at the ground and gives you confidence, that's the only thing you can ask for.
It's a pretty incredible trend. These guys, they're switching to these mallet putters and having success. Paulie and I both have one. I know Brandon, you're kind of mixed bag.
You two are traditional.